Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, multi-agency operation at Caribbean International Brewing Company Limited in Orange Walk leads to the confiscation of $3.1 million in cash and the detention of 8 Chinese nationals due to immigration offenses. Tropical Depression 13 strengthens to Tropical Storm Julia. Belizeans are advised to remain on alert. And the Ministry of Agriculture makes huge advancements with coconut industry. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, October 7th, 2022.
Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamt of going to Mars. You can keep my dream alive.
Come with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave my room, okay? Only for 35 days.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
I met Alex on the plane. When I woke up in the morning, he was so alive.
I think they know you're lying.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Get her off that stage.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together. Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Good evening. With your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Eight Chinese nationals and one business owner are in the hot seat tonight after an early morning multi-agency operation in Carmelita Village, Orange Walk, yesterday at around 7:30. The raid at the Caribbean International Brewery Company, producers of Mine Beer and other products, was conducted by the Labor Department, Immigration Department, Police, and the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Council, led to the discovery of a large sum of money, reportedly as much as $3.1 million in cash. The operation also led to the detention of 8 persons from the Republic of China who were asked for their identification documents, immigration status, and permits to be in Belize at the time of the investigation. While each of the individuals were able to present their passports from the Republic of China, they had expired permits. This led to their detention and to a single charge each of failure to comply with visitor's permit. Late this afternoon, 4 of the 8 men were interviewed and told investigators that they worked at a brewing company in China and that they were sent to work on the engine acquired by Caribbean International Brewery Company. They also informed investigators that their employer in China would be paying their salaries, housing, food, and immigration fees while they remained in Belize. The other 4 told authorities that they were employed by Caribbean International Brewery Company and that they had applied for Belizean residency in June and remain employed by the company with an extension work permit. In court today, defense attorney Marcel Cardona explained to the magistrate that the 4 men In court today, defense attorney Marcel Cardona explained to the magistrate that the 4 men brought to Belize to work on the engine acquired by CIB had scheduled flights out of the country for October 11, 2022, and they had no intentions to violate their permits. All 8 men pled not guilty and were denied bail and remanded to prison until their next court date. In their defense, we understand Caribbean International Brewery Company is saying the operation was maliciously planned and the 9 men detained for immigration offenses all have legal status. 4 of the individuals who traveled to Belize to work on the engine acquired by Caribbean International Brewery Company were trapped in Belize due to COVID regulations in China and were awaiting on the Embassy of Mexico to reopen to apply for Mexican visas to travel back to their country of origin, says CIB. We understand the company is claiming authorities only had a search warrant for undocumented immigrants and not to search for money. The company claims that the $3.1 million found the company's safe was obtained legally and the owner of the company can provide documents showing how the money was generated. We will keep following this story in Tuesday's newscast. Tropical Depression 13, which formed in the Caribbean last night, has threatened and is now Tropical Storm Julia. At 4 p.m. local time, Tropical Storm Julia was located near latitude 13 north longitude 74.7 west, or about 450 miles east of La Providencia, Colombia. Julia was moving to the west at 18 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour and minimum central pressure of 1,002 millibars. The forecast is for Julia to continue on a westward track and make landfall on Nicaragua early Sunday morning as a Category 1 hurricane. Should Tropical Storm Julia's trajectory and projections continue being the same, according to the National Meteorological Service of Belize, the country should experience torrential rainfalls into the weekend, which could lead to widespread flooding across the country.
On that note, the system, after making landfall, will move farther inland into Nicaragua and Honduras and dissipate over those mountainous terrain. The remnants of Julia, however, will continue moving westward, and the outer bands will move across Belize, producing torrential rainfall into the weekend. We are already experiencing moisture from a moist northeasterly airflow ahead of the system, which of course will cause our soils to become more saturated. And then with the rainfalls that we expect from the system as the remnants of it move south of us, will basically cause the flooding situation to be worse. In terms of totals, we are expecting about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall today and then on tomorrow, not from that system directly, but from the moist northeasterly airflow that I spoke about. And then when the bands from the system move across us, we can see up to 3 to 5 inches maximum on Sunday and Monday, and then decreasing on Tuesday as the system moves further west. So again, the main threat from the system will be the rainfall and the potential flooding. Those will also include flash flooding over the areas in the south and possible landslides. In terms of winds, on Saturday night into Sunday, we're expecting winds of about 15 to 25 knots with higher gusts near showers and thunderstorms. Those, of course, could cause significant hazard for mariners, especially those operating small vessels. So, of course, we are likely to issue a warning for mariners during those days. But apart from that, we are not expecting tropical storm force winds sustained across the country. There is a graphic that the National Hurricane Center uses, which shows probability for tropical storm force winds. And I believe it was being shared by one of the media houses. That graphic, we need to interpret it correctly. It is not saying that we should experience tropical storm force winds. It is telling us that there's a minimal, I think about 5% chance that you could get tropical storm force winds. We're not expecting that to happen. That's a very small probability. However, we do expect to get gusty winds and thunderstorms, and those gusts may go up to tropical storm force in gusts, but not sustained, not constant. And that will occur primarily within the rain bands and during thunderstorms and showers.
And while we will be blasted by some heavy rains, Julia is not expected to make landfall in Belize.
The highest probability and the most likely scenario is that it will not make landfall on Belize. There is a minute chance that the system emerges in the Gulf of Honduras, but that is fading rapidly. If you look at the latest projection, the latest cone of uncertainty coming out of the National Hurricane Center, Belize is not included anymore. So the most likely scenario is for the system to make landfall on Nicaragua and for its remnants to move across Central America and rapidly weaken. You have some very rugged mountainous terrains, and tropical systems don't survive that type of environment. So the system is likely not going to emerge into the Gulf of Honduras and make any significant or any direct landfall on this country. In case of this system, in comparison to Eta and Iota, where there's one thing different is that the system is much smaller and also much weaker. We're not anticipating a Category 5, as was the case with Eta and Iota. The system is likely going to be a Category 1. I put that there with caution because, again, intensification, I keep repeating, is one of the challenges that we have. So there is always a chance that the system could do some sort of rapid intensification, but as we go along and get more information, it appears that that will not happen. and that the system will make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane, maybe Category 2 at worst. And certainly, putting that in perspective as compared to Eta and Iota, we're looking at a much smaller and a much weaker system. And also, in the case of Eta in particular, Eta did emerge in the Gulf of Honduras. If you would recall, if you dig up the archives, you will see that that system did emerge and did become a tropical storm once again in front of us. So that's again a big difference, because we're not anticipating that Julia will do that. Julia will likely remain over land and dissipate.
According to Chief Meteorological Officer Ronald Gordon, the heavier rainfall and flooding will be experienced in the southern part of the country.
I will issue the typical advice that we issue to residents who are prone to flooding. Of course, be prepared to move if you see the waters rising. You probably could make preparations now, such as taking measures to protect your property, your livestock. If you have agricultural products that you need to harvest or can harvest now before the heavier rains arrive, do so to protect your property. And of course, the most important thing is to protect life. So as I said before, if the waters are rising and you could move to higher ground, ensure that you do so to avoid being swept away in any sort of flash flooding that could occur.
It's being a long weekend, Gordon has this advice for those who already have traveling plans.
It's bad weather, and you don't want to be on the roads in heavy rainfall. You don't want to be on the seas during heavy thunderstorms and rough seas. So it would be inadvisable to go about your merry way and make those type of preparation or do that type of activity. No, it's best to keep at home safe. The roads can be very treacherous during bad weather. So my advice is persons to stay home this weekend. But again, there is no mandatory, as far as I'm aware, there is no mandatory, or there's no rule out there mandating that persons cannot travel. But we can only advise. The weather is going to be bad. We're not going to get a direct landfall from a hurricane or a tropical storm, but it's going to be bad weather. So the wise thing to do is to remain in shelter, to remain home where you are safe.
In its second advisory issue this afternoon, NEMO advises the public to remain vigilant throughout the long weekend and to review one's family emergency plan and check on vulnerable family members, particularly the elderly and persons with disabilities. If you must evacuate, go to higher grounds. Do not wait until it is too late, and always move before nightfall. Avoid walking or diving through flood waters. Driving, that is. 6 inches of running water can knock you off your feet. 1 foot of water can sweep your vehicle away. Drive slowly and put on your hazard lights if you must drive in the rain. NEMO's emergency hotline is 936. Stay alert and be prepared. The latest bulletin from the National Meteorological Service of Belize advises that the projected path of Tropical Storm Julia has the potential of producing heavy rainfall and possible flooding over Belize on Sunday and Monday. To mitigate the potential effects of Tropical Storm Julia, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise hereby advises all farmers who are in low-lying and flood-prone areas to safeguard their families and livelihoods as needed. All farmers are advised to observe the following measures. Crop producers are advised to harvest available and mature crops, make a note of all crops planted and production amounts, store harvested crops in cool, dry areas to avoid spoilage or losses. As for producers with tropical greenhouses or cover structures, they are asked to remove covering materials, UV plastic, and antiviral netting. Safely store equipment and supplies and make a note of all crops planted and production amounts, including taking pictures of the structures. Livestock producers are advised to temporarily relocate animals to safer areas, ensure availability of animal feed and water, make account of all animals and farm inputs, secure all farm machinery and farm inputs, and relocate all pesticides and pesticide containers to avoid spillage and contamination. The avian influenza outbreak that affected northern Belize back in mid-September has been contained after seeing the depopulation of 3 farms, 2 in Blue Creek and 1 in Shipyard, and the quarantine of 5 other farms in Blue Creek where the antibodies of the virus were detected. The Ministry of Agriculture is reporting that no more positive cases have been detected.
The farms that we found the disease in, those farms are being cleaned out, and other measures taken, the biosafety measures. So that seems to have been working well. We have no further infections, no further, no further incidences of the disease so far.
Although no shortage of poultry is expected due to the outbreak, the reality is that there were millions of dollars in losses. And to avoid further losses, the Ministry of Agriculture via the Belize Agriculture Health Authority, BAHA, has intensified its testing methods to identify the virus in a timelier manner.
What we have to do now is to do testing at day 1 chicks, because we suspect that the disease came in through infected eggs. We suspect those tests are still waiting for the results, I think. But we were doing long-lived birds, layers, the spent hens, all these long-lived birds. We were never testing the day-olds. So now we have to shift how we do things based on what we've seen today, the experience we have today. We do no testing on day-old chicks, so that if we catch the disease right there and then. So you won't test a broiler 6 weeks, 7 weeks when you're ready to slaughter, because that bird has gone all through its life cycle actually. Then you slaughter for it to be dressed, just wait and ready for market. So we do at day 1, so if we capture the disease, it's going to be there and then. So we are intensifying and doing things different based on the experience we had this time.
Coming up next, Orange Volcano celebrate World Mental Health Day. Stay tuned.
What is Amnesty 2022? An opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, MAFSA, has required 10,000 Brazilian dwarf coconut seed nuts in a measure to boost industry. The seed nuts were brought with the intention of diversifying the agriculture base in the north. The coconut seed nuts were procured earlier this week and are being planted at the Sirdi Station in Buena Vista, Corozal, and the Yule Creek Agriculture Station in Orange Walk. With the Brazilian dwarf coconut in high demand because of its high yielding and the high quality water it produces, Minister of Agriculture Jose Abelardo Mai is confident Belize is on the right track.
We are trying to diversify the agriculture base in the north. And we have begun right now with setting in 5,000 seeds of the Brazilian dwarf coconut. We are doing it between the Ministry of Agriculture, Central Farm, and CIRDI. These seeds were donated to us by a company in Orinda, Mr. Sergio Marukin. And this, we have already placed them in nurseries, and we hope to have those out in 5 months to farmers. And we also are hoping to buy more from him so that we can start off the production of coconut large scale. We're looking at large scale production in the very near future. But we are concerned about the small farmers. How can we make available the seed to the farmers, and we can make it available at an affordable price? And that is what the ministry is concerned about.
Every year, October 10th is commemorated across the globe as World Mental Health Day. This year, the event is being celebrated under the theme, Make Mental Health and Well-Being for All a Global Priority, which seeks to address the inequalities exposed by the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact globally on the mental health of people around the globe. As Belize joins in with countries across the globe in celebration of World Mental Health Day, here in Orange Walk Town, the Northern Regional Hospital, along with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, have engaged in a number of activities since the beginning of the week in commemoration of the occasion, including mental health promotion sessions at different organizations within the town. To conclude the week, the activities today, the NRH, along with a host of other stakeholders, hosted a health fair at the La Inmaculada Credit Union parking lot to help raise awareness on the importance of mental health, particularly as our country continues in the recovery process post-COVID-19.
We're trying to raise awareness with activities from the whole month, actually. We started this Monday doing a distribution of pamphlets from Solomon schools to town. Along with our colleagues from NDAC, we have been working together during this month and this week because we want to advocate, we want to encourage people to come and ask or search for the services, as mental health is very important to everyone, just not the physical health.
Today culminates your entire week of activities and you have some partners here. Tell us about your partners and what are the services being offered today?
Yes, today we have all public health services, which is the maternal and child health that they are offering the vaccines, COVID vaccines. We have NDAC giving information about the substance uses, the most common ones that we have here. And we have the Women and Family Support Department, which all of these entities, we work together. It's related to mental health at some point. We have the HECOPAB with the glucose testing, BMI, blood pressure. We have dental for your hygiene, your care. Us, of course, the mental health, we do screenings for anxiety, depression, and stress. And then, of course, we have our host, which is La Inmaculada Credit Union.
One of the major links between mental health issues in our community, according to Eldrin Neal from the National Drug Abuse Control Council, NDAC, is substance abuse, and thus their participation this week, along with the Ministry of Health, has been of crucial importance.
Us being here to close this week is very important as the focus has to change. We've seen the news over the last few weeks and months where we have credible individuals, servants, public servants, officers taking their lives. We know young people have been doing so a lot. And the foreign press has always impacted us with the kind of negative crime effect. So when you look at the link between drug use and abuse and mental health, either is bad by itself. Imagine the combination of both. So when we look at the stability within the home, the stresses, because a number of people, although we're a lot more free from COVID, a lot of folks are still in the recovering mode, and that by itself lent a lot of pressure and depression. So when you look at it, a lot of folks resort to substance abuse and took on a number of stresses, and so the home is directly affected. The cash flow is extremely stringent in this time. That in itself creates a whole next level of mental health problems. So definitely there's a link, and our department has definitely found satisfaction in engaging within the entire community, and today is the culmination in which
One of the major issues brought about as a consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic has been financial instability, which can also lead to depression and mental health concerns. This is where the La Immaculada Credit Union comes in, offering their members peace of mind that comes along with being financially stable.
Here at La Immaculada Credit Union, we focus, as a member-focused institution, we care a lot about the mental health of our members and the membership. Hence, that's why we partner with the Ministry of Health. And having access to finance is really important. It gives you a peace of mind, it gives you security. And that's what we focus on here at La Immaculada Credit Union, no? Having a savings account, having access to funding, and the mental health, that's what it supports with. You can do a general checkup, the glucose testing, COVID testing, and any other vaccine that you need. And if they refer to any other hospital or doctor, then they have that peace of mind that they can come to us and access that financing, and we're readily available to provide that need to them.
And why La Immaculada?
Well, obviously, we pride ourselves in being different from other financial institutions. Like I said, being member focused, we go all the way out for our members, above and beyond, and just having that access to them. And as a credit union, our main benefits are the rebates and the dividends that members can benefit from, and it's totally different from any other financial institution.
Persons in need of mental health services are advised to visit their nearest mental health clinic to talk to their primary care provider to set up an appointment.
Our doors are open to anyone, and that's why we want to do this. Come and make we talk, because by talking you could maybe know or figure it out if you have a mental distress, because we have mental distress and we have a mental disorder, which is different. Every day we go to stress. We have good and bad stress. So we have to identify when we are doing or experiencing the bad stress, what we could do apart from our regular coping strategies. So anybody at some point could suffer from a mental disorder. And if you are referred, come to our door, we are ready. Or if you just feel like you need to talk to somebody, it's always open.
Joining the NRH at the La Immaculada Credit Union parking lot today was the Ministry of Health, working along with the Child Maternal Care Unit, who are administering COVID-19 booster shots, HECOPAB, and the PFLA, all sharing a very important information. Since the change of administration, the government of Belize has been vigorously revitalizing and amplifying its reach in agriculture across the country in line with the plan commitment. Under that plan, today 25 farmers in Orange Walk got a major boost through a one-day biofertilizer training organized by the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise.
Why is it that we're having this biofertilizer training today here in Yokri?
Today we are conducting a biofertilizer training because we saw the need of the implementation of the resources that we have around. We have several topics today, like we are doing the use of a well-known tree here in Belize, which is the neem. We are doing an insecticide with the neem. We are doing an insecticide that we have around the orange peel. The reason why we are doing this training is because we have seen the prices and for fertilizers that are high scraping. They are very high, and it is not affordable for small-scale farmers. So we have the initiative for the ministry to train new farmers or existing farmers in the use of these products. For example, we have bokashi, we have vermicompost, which is another option that we can go and implement. Who we have today presenting is the guys that went to Colombia for a training the last 3 months. So they are back and they are disseminating the training for Orange Walk farmers. And also we have Miss Terry Balam, which is from Central Farm. She is in charge for the horticulture section, and she is doing what Central Farm is offering, which is compost, bokashi, and vermicompost. I believe it is an interesting topic in which this is not beneficial only for the plants, but is also beneficiary for the environment. We know that we have been affected dramatically by the excessive use of pesticide and insecticide. And if we are going to this area here with the bio and natural or organic fertilizer, we can see that it is very beneficial for the plants, for the soils, for the environment, and for all of us to consume also as consumers.
Focus on both theory and practical sessions where participants got the hands-on experience of making the pesticides and fertilizers.
Tiene que colar antes de empezar porque debería estar más caliente el agua para que no específicamente pero dice cuántas naranjas de bombales. Exactamente, no se dice, pero más o menos puedes sacar una cantidad de miel que haya suficiente para que suelte regular del producto. Mientras más cáscara haya, mejor.
The idea is to reduce fertilizer costs for farmers, which in turn leads to huge savings and also provides a healthier cultivation of crops for consumers. Back in June, Cabinet agreed that the price of a 16-ounce bread will continue to be controlled in the country after flour suppliers requested from the Controller of Supplies in the Supplies Control Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture to increase the price of flour due to high inflation, the effects of COVID-19 and the supply chain, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which caused difficulties with the production of wheat worldwide. So as not to affect bakers nor consumers, the government provided a subsidy to the bakers, which prevented an increase in the price of the product. That subsidy, however, expires in December, and according to Minister of Agriculture Jose Abelardo May, Cabinet will meet to discuss what moves will be made next so as to avoid the payment of a higher price for the commodity.
Right now, we are monitoring the price of wheat on the world market. We are in very close communication with those who import wheat. But I must tell you that the last information I received is that the price of wheat was going down in the world market, which is good news. If it's going down to what it used to be, I do not know. But that's why we're monitoring the prices. Our supplies control team is always out there looking at the information coming in and feeding us with it so that Cabinet can make an intelligent decision on this matter.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, October 11th here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, have a safe and pleasant weekend. Thank you for watching and listening. Good night.